issue with the way we teach and talk about words is that we tend to think of words as something that is on a written paper, rather than when, take the Greek words, no pun intended, the Greek word for words, the concept behind it is that it is literally an energy that's being transmitted. So I have a friend that I went to college with, one of my closest buddies. His wife is Japanese, and she was just explaining to me how the Japanese have a word, don't ask me to repeat it because I can't remember it, but have a word that basically denotes that words are actually spirits in themselves. Now when I say spirits, I'm not talking about ghosts and goblins, but that the words themselves are emitting a spiritual, a supernatural energy. And that's why it tends to happen that angry people tend to flock with angry people, because it is looking for like energy. People who are joyous and happy, it tend to link with people who are joyous and happy because that energy links. I realized the power of words to build and to destroy actually when I was in college. So I showed y'all earlier the speech that I made when I graduated as valedictorian. What I didn't show you, and it's not on camera, is a speech I made a year before. I was really, actually it was 2 years before. Long story short, I was angry about some things that had happened at the school. I had run for class president in the class and I got within 10 votes of winning, and I didn't win, and I had a big chip on my shoulder because of that. Now I look back and it's like that's stupid stuff, but at the time it was a big deal for me. And the next year I ran for president again, and the guy who was running for president, had been president that had beat me that one time, he didn't even run. I ran again, and I remember they had us make these speeches in this great big hall. And the hall that we walked into, everybody got to make a campaign speech. There were probably, I don't know, 300-400 people in this big room. And when I got there, I was angry. I go into this hall with that energy. And just like I showed you how I spoke when I graduated as valedictorian, I used that same eloquence, that same vernacular, that same ability to be able to use my words to my advantage to communicate basically that I was angry about what had happened over the past year. The guy who had run for president, the guy who had been president before, was in the audience. He was not running, but he was in the audience with his whole kind of team, because it was serious then, with his whole team, and they were staring me down almost as if to say, I know he's not going to get up here and trash us if we're right in his face. Oh no, that only egged me on more. And I got up, and I began to talk, and I'm railing. I'm railing, I got my fists in the air, I'm doing this. Immediately, I'll give you the short version of it, because this really changed my life, this one event. By the end of that speech that I made, it couldn't have been long, it was maybe 7 or 8 minutes. By the end of that speech, oh no, I realized, because I was caught up in my words, I realized the power of words. Several things happened. The first thing that happened was that there were, I would say, in the course of the 7 or 8 minutes, there were probably 100 other people that came into that room, that auditorium. It was standing room only at this point, because people called it like, it's about to really go down, all right? That's the first thing that happened. The second thing that happened was people began to yell, bring him out the front. You talking about being about security, well, I needed security there. Oh, bring him out the front. He think he gonna trash us like this? And it was a group of people, because we took politics in college way too seriously. I had a campaign team of about, it was very serious, of about 15 people. They're calling other people, get here, we gotta get Daryl out the, and somebody said, no, take him out the back. And somebody else said, no, don't take him out the back, he came in the front, we coming through the front. So it's me, if you can imagine, with 20 or 30 other people, now this is in college, but this is how serious we were, 20 or 30 other people who are pushing me through this crowd that has gone from calm to now extra irate, right? They bring me through the front, and as I walk out of the auditorium into the outside, I see people almost as far as you can see, and people were angry. And I was genuinely scared. Not scared that I was going to get into a fight. I mean, that was certainly like next level. But that was what scared me was I created this entire situation based on my words. I went in there with one agenda, and that was that I was angry and I wanted to get other people angry. And I was surprised at how effective I was able to be. Now, I lost that election. Oh, I lost that election because if I would have thought about it, I would have been smarter. I lost that election because there were people who came to me and said, we would have voted for you because we knew you were a better candidate and we knew your persistence from last time. But the fact that you got up there and trashed that man to his face and he couldn't say a thing back, it just really showed a lack of class on your part. But this was the point.
Especially at Morehouse.
Yeah, especially more. This was the point. I made up in my mind I would never again use my words in that way. That's why I told this whole story. I made up in my mind I would never again use words to destroy people and destroy people's reputations. Because I learned, even at that level, it was a small level, even at that age, it was a young age, I learned that words really have that ability. And people, and when I tell you, and this is no exaggeration, you could feel the anger. That's what I realized how, what I'm telling you is not something I'm telling you words are just the vehicle. You could feel the anger in the room. Then the auditorium, it was literally, somebody said later, it got 10 degrees hotter by the time we got finished talking. And it did not help, that I'm good with my words. Oh, I had half the room laughing. If you've ever seen the State of the Union address where the president might say something and half the room stands up and the other half is booing, oh, it was like that. Oh, I had people laughing and joking, and then on the other end, cussing me out, yelling and all this. I mean, they weren't saying it loud, but like, oh, when this is over, this is really going to be. But I said, so I said all that to say it was a lesson for me in the power of words. And that's why I'm so intentional now about using my words in a way that builds people up. And as an effective communicator, I think you have to understand that everything you say, it's a spirit behind it. It's a spirit behind it. And either it's a spirit of kindness or it's a spirit of not kindness. Or a spirit of newness. It's a spirit of good or it's a spirit of evil. And when you speak, understand there is no middle ground. Either someone is being built up or someone is being torn down.